Whew, fall is definitely here this morning. It is cool 28 degrees, but it is still beautiful out here. I've been using the Insta360 GO 3 for the past few months now. I've done a beginner's guide video, overall review, a side-by-side comparison with the GoPro Hero 11 and the Osmo Action 3. I'll put links to all those videos in the description if you're interested. In this video though, I want to go over the best settings for the GO 3 so you can get the best image quality possible. The first thing you want to do is go into settings and set the bitrate to high. After that, you want to go and set the sharpness to medium or low. When it comes to the microphone settings, it depends on how you're going to use the GO 3. If you plan on using it outside at all, just leave it on wind reduction. The direction focus sounds better in my opinion, but if there's any slight breeze, it really does pick it up. Wind reduction doesn't help a lot. If there's a slight breeze, it does okay, but if there's significant wind, you're still going to have sound quality issues. So if you're outside, wind reduction on. If you're going to be using it inside, there's no one to worry about. Use direction focus. The video mode you want to use is free frame. Now the max resolution is 1440, which is less than the camera's max resolution of 2.7K. But the reason why you want to use it is because you can adjust the aspect ratio using the app or the desktop studio. So that way you can shoot one video and you can adjust it for vertical or horizontal. So you can quickly put something up for social media. It just gives you a ton of flexibility so you don't have to shoot the same thing twice vertically and horizontally. And it's that flexibility that really makes the GO 3 a nice camera. It's small size, you know, the flexibility within the app to adjust and change things just makes it so you have a lot of options. The max frame rate is 50 frames per second in freeform, and I would set it at that because that gives you a lot of flexibility. If you want to slow a shot down at 50 frames per second, you can slow it down 50% and get it down to 25 frames per second. It will look nice and smooth. But if you set it for 25 frames per second, and you're kind of stuck. So if you want to slow something down, it's going to look choppy and unnatural, and we'll do a little test run so you can see the difference. Oh, what did you roll in? That's disgusting. I recorded that at 50 frames per second. That way in the app it can be slowed down 50% and it should look pretty good. I'm going to try a similar shot again, but I am going to reduce the frames per second to 25 and we'll see how that looks. Okay, got that one at 25 frames per second, and we'll see what the difference is. When you're in the settings menu, you'll see there's no way to adjust the level of stabilization. That's because you also take care of that in post, and you can set it under flow state stabilization, which is excellent, so you're not going to have any issues when it comes to the stability of your footage. I want to test that out, and going to try the Luna Cam here. We're gonna put the camera on this harness and we're gonna get a POV from a dog's perspective. Okay, got it all set up. Let's see how it does. Now you can take the GO 3 out of the action pod if you want, but I left it on there just to get a little bit more height. I decided to take the GO 3 out of the action pod. When I was watching it run, it seemed like there was a lot of side-to-side movement with the height and the weight of the camera. So I removed that and just put the GO 3 by itself on there, and we're gonna give this another shot. I leave the exposure set to auto, and I find that works really well. And I don't want to be in there adjusting the settings manually every time the light changes or I'm in a different environment. The whole point of the action camera is to kind of set it and forget it so you can focus on whatever activity you're doing. And I find that the auto does a decent job. I'll only adjust the EV up and down slightly based on the environment. So when I was driving in this morning, the sun was starting to come up, so I tried to get a shot of that, and I I slightly adjust the EV to kind of get the best image of the sky. But auto, set it and forget it, and just make minor adjustments as needed, and you should be good to go. For the color profile, you have a few different options. You can set it to standard, vivid, flat. There's a few presets, filters in there. I generally leave it at standard, and then I go in and tweak the color in the app. You can adjust the exposure, the brightness, and all those different settings. If I just don't feel like messing around with it, I generally put it at vivid because I like kind of that bold, bright color, because I do a lot of outdoor content, and I want to try to catch how blue the sky is, or how green the trees is, or anything along those lines. So that's how I typically like to set it. One setting I forgot to mention is the field of view. Just leave it set at wide, and you can also adjust that in post. The wind was really starting to pick up out there, so for the sake of the audio quality of the remainder of the video and my freezing fingers, I decided to go ahead and finish up the video inside. On this channel, I share the latest action camera news, reviews, and how-tos, so like and subscribe to learn how to get the most out of your camera. Here are the best settings for the Insta360 GO 3. You want to set the bitrate to high, the sharpness to medium or low, the microphone to wind reduction if you're going to be recording outside. Use the free frame mode so you can turn your videos into horizontal or vertical content. Set the aspect ratio to whichever one you're going to be doing more of. If you're making TikToks, just set it to vertical, and of course you can just turn to horizontal if you need to. Set the resolution to 1440, the frame rate of 50. Set the field of view to ultra. You can change that within the app. Set the exposure value to automatic. Adjust the exposure value as necessary. Select the standard color profile. You can adjust that in the app. Auto white balance, flow state stabilization on, and horizon lock on. To learn more about every button, setting, and feature of the Insta360 GO 3, check out this video.